Welcome to the College Football Weekly Pick'em Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. The College Football Weekly Pick'em Show is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. You know, ever since I started this podcast, people have asked me for advice. Usually it's who I'm going to bet on, Louisville or North Carolina State, Iowa State or Oklahoma. Well, I always tell people sometimes the most important thing is not even who you're betting on, but where you're betting. And with MyBookie, you've got a place that's reputation is rock solid. They do 100% cash bonuses if you use CFB picks when you go to the MyBookie.ag website. So right off the bat, you're making money for doing nothing. They have the fastest payout. Seriously, just 2 business days. You know who's going to win, right? Lay down some cash and win big today with MyBookie.ag. Remember the promo code CFBPicks to get a 100% bonus on top of whatever you put in. I am your host for the College Football Weekly Pick'em Show, Mike Goodpaster. Right now I want to welcome in my co-host, University of Alabama, what was it, 1977-80, Bill Searcy.
Yeah. Hi, guys. How y'all doing? And listen, we did a great job this week, didn't we?
Yes, we did, and I knew you'd bring it up this week because you won. The other week you didn't bring it up. But Bill was 9-1. Brian Schmidt was 8-2, and I was 7-3. So for the year, that means Brian is up by, I believe, 3 games over me and Bill. So, Bill, you're making a little bit of a comeback. But
yeah,
let's just start off. What was your big takeaway from the week?
Well, it's a little different than usual. I got to tell you that I was down at Alabama Ole Miss game, but it was a reunion of the 1977 SEC championship team for Alabama, and got to see a bunch of old teammates. And if you'll remember, we beat Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl that year and got robbed.
Yeah, like 38-6, wasn't it?
Yeah, 30. I'm gonna say the wrong score now. I think it was 35-6. But anyway, I got to see those guys and all my teammates and some pretty familiar names to people who follow college football and pro football. Johnny Davis was on that team, and a great fullback, and Ozzie Newsome was on that team, and I'm going to miss a whole bunch of them, so I'm not going to try to name. Barry Krause, Marty Lyons, E.J. Jr. So a lot of guys that went on and played in the NFL. But anyway, we had a great time. Alabama won big, 66-3. And I guess my other big take of the weekend was Georgia just looked fantastic, and I think they continue to get better every week. I think they're no doubt the best team in the East in the SEC, and I think they have a real good chance of getting into the Final Four.
Well, really, they're probably the only good team in the SEC East.
Oh, yeah, that's true. The thing I took away, Tennessee, Butch Jones is going to be fired. It's only a matter of time. They look bad. I mean, they looked real bad. As good as Georgia looked, Tennessee looked every bit as bad. When I look at this, though, the thing that sticks out to me is teams like Georgia, TCU, are teams that I don't think people really thought were national title contenders that are now. And, right. I mean, Georgia, with their remaining schedule, to me it looks like it comes down to one game with Bama in the SEC championship. And according to how other teams do, heck, maybe both of those teams make it if it's a close game in that championship game. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's just some teams starting to stick out of the crowd now, and it's going to be interesting the second half of the year. And I don't know if I've ever said this on this show, but I said this before the season started, that I thought we were going to take a good 4 to 5 weeks before we saw some really solid football this year, for lots of reasons. A lot of the rule changes as it relates to practice and two-a-days and those kinds of things. And I think that's what we're starting to see.
You could even equate that to the NFL, where the first 2 weeks everybody's talking about how bad the quality of play is. Now, not so much, because everybody's kind of in a groove.
Yep. So, but I think it's really, things are starting to turn up now, and we're going to, see some pretty good games every weekend here on out. So it's going to get interesting.
All right, so let's go ahead and start with this week's game. We're going to start off number 1. We're going with the MyBookie.ag line. And to me, this is a game that I think is a gimme with the line. Louisville is actually a 3.5-point favorite at North Carolina State. I like the Wolfpack to win this game outright. You're going to give me points on top of it. I'm definitely taking the Wolfpack.
I think I'm going to go with you. I'm going to take the Wolfpack too. I'm not sure about Louisville, but I think NC State's a good bet here in taking the points.
Yeah, I'm sure that Louisville has Lamar Jackson, who is the best player on almost any football field he's on. But North Carolina State's got a great pass rush, and I think that they're going to do enough to limit him where they can win the game. I think the Wolfpack, if you look at them, I think they get Clemson at home, too. I mean, this is a team that's got a chance to do something as the year goes on.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
I don't know how they lost to South Carolina, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see that. Honestly, I didn't watch that game, and I don't have any idea. And NC State's one of those teams that, I'll speak for myself, that I very seldom pay any attention to. And I think there's a lot of people like that as far as NC State goes, but they're going to sneak up on some people, and I think this weekend may be one of those.
Well, when you think NC State, you think of basketball. And Jim Valvano, you don't really think of football.
Right.
Even though there have been
Absolutely.
some great players and great teams North Carolina State's had in the past, just not that often. Next up, we got the Iowa State Cyclones at Oklahoma. Oklahoma is favored by 26.
Ooh.
So you like the Sooners and the points here?
Golly, man.
Because Iowa State's a solid football team. They're not bad.
I know. That's why it's so hard. I got to go. I mean, gosh, I got to go with Oklahoma. I think they've also got a good team. I think their quarterback is a great player. He's a winner. And
Baker Mayfield.
I got to go. Yeah, Baker Mayfield. He's obviously one of the Heisman contenders, and so I'm going to stay with Baker. I got confidence in him that he can pull this one out.
All right, the next game is another one I think the line might be pushing a little bit. You got Wake Forest, who I think is 4-1, 3-1. Their only loss was a close game to Florida State this past weekend. They go to Clemson. Clemson's favored by 23. To me, this point spread, I know Clemson's going to win the game. That is 23 points is a lot against a solid football team, I think. And I think I'm going to go with Wake Forest and take the points on this one.
I'm going to go against you on this one and go with Clemson. I think Clemson will cover and cover easily. Wake Forest is playing pretty good, but I don't think they're anywhere in the same realm of Clemson. And once again, even though I think Clemson's a great team, I think they're getting better every week, and that quarterback's getting more comfortable every week, and their defense is already great, and they're getting better every week. So I got to go with Clemson.
Well, I'm just going off of this. A couple weeks ago, they played Boston College. They struggled. If they play like that, Wake will cover. The other thing is this. Clemson's coming off an emotional victory against Virginia Tech. I think maybe there's a little letdown there that keeps Wake Forest in the game. But I think it's like 30-10, so that's why I'm taking the 23 points.
Let me ask you a question. The Wake Forest lost to Florida State.
Yeah, correct? They lost on a last-second touchdown.
Okay. And I think Florida State is not a very good team at all.
I think Florida State is a team that has just ran into a lot of coincidence. I mean, I think this. I think Florida State showed defensively they're really good.
Yeah.
Offensively, they lost their quarterback in the Bama loss, and then they had a couple weeks where they couldn't play because of the hurricanes. And Wake has got some decent wins over good teams. I'm taking Wake Forest with the idea that Clemson here may not come out completely, psyched up to play against Wake Forest, and maybe that allows Wake Forest to stick around a little bit.
I got you. Okay.
But I still think Clemson wins the game by 20 points. Next game, we've got the Georgia Bulldogs, who look phenomenal at Tennessee. They will be going to Vanderbilt this week. Same state. Will this be the same result? Georgia is favored by 15.5 points, Bill.
That's easy. I take Georgia in this one. Vandy got beat up with Alabama again. They in the beginning of the year, everybody was talking about watch out, don't sleep on them, but Vandy's a decent, average team for Vandy, but they're not. The other thing is this: now that everybody knows not to sleep on them, you're less likely to sleep on them too. Right, exactly. So, to me, that's the easy pick.
For Vandy, they're real good. Put it like that.
Yes, that's right. They are. Where's the game at? Is it in Georgia or Vandy?
It's at Vandy. But I just say Georgia. I mean, Georgia right now looks like one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the country to me.
They do. And look, Kirby Smart has been there before with Alabama. He knows exactly what to do, and he is creating a team, a shut-down team that knows how to just put people away and never take their foot off the pedal. And they're showing it more and more. So I think Vandy's in trouble.
All right, next game. We got a Big Ten matchup, the Penn State and Nittany Lions with Barkley and McSorley, both Heisman Trophy candidates, favored by 14 at Northwestern. I'm going to take Penn State here. Northwestern, I think, is a solid team. I just don't think that they can hang with Penn State.
Me either. Barkley and McSorley, they're both. Did I dream that he returned the kickoff this weekend also?
And then he threw a touchdown pass.
Yeah, then he threw a touchdown pass. Then I also saw him make an unbelievable one-handed grab. That guy is unbelievable. He's unreal.
I mean, this is the thing. Penn State has had some great running backs. Franco Harris, Kurt Warner with a C, not the quarterback.
Right.
Kajana Carter. This guy looks like he might be better than all of them, including Franco.
I tell you, man, he looks. And funny enough is down here we don't get that much coverage of those teams. They don't. I mean, this is pretty much mostly SEC country, and that's what we hear the most about. But I've been watching out for Penn State and watching him because he's so good, and he's in the hunt, man. He can do everything.
Yeah, he's special.
Yep.
The next game, this is a game that the point spread makes no sense to me. And if I was a bed man, which I may be, I'm going to jump all over it. But we got the LSU Tigers, who just lost to Troy at home, and a game that was not as close as the score, go to Florida to play the Gators. And I think the Gators, since they've gotten some of the players back since their preseason problems and everything, look at least like a solid team. Defensively, they can play. Offensively, they're scoring a few more points. I think they might have lost their quarterback this last week, but I'm going to take Florida and give the 4 points against LSU.
I'm going to do the same thing because Florida seems, even though they haven't been real impressive, they seem to know how to find a way to win, whether it's, it might be the last play of the game, but they find a way to win. And I like
as long as they're not playing Alabama, they can find a way to win.
As long as that's right. As long as they're not playing Alabama. But I like Jim McElwain. And I think LSU is starting to learn how to lose. And I think they're going to lose this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about teams, well, they just win all the time because they're so used to winning. Losing can be the same way, and I think LSU may be dangerously headed towards that point.
Exactly.
All right, the next game, we got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who are on a little bit of a win streak, not against the greatest of competition. They're one solid team they played this year. Georgia beat them at Notre Dame. They will travel to North Carolina. Notre Dame's favored by 14.5, Bill.
I'm going to ride with Notre Dame again. I'm not sure how convinced I am. I'm like you. The wins haven't been that impressive, and they got beat by a good Georgia team. But I've got to stay with Notre Dame against North Carolina.
See, the only thing here is I think Notre Dame may be better than what we think, just from the fact that Georgia only beat them by a point at Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's true.
But I watched Notre Dame, and I don't know. There's nothing that really stands out as being exceptionally exciting to me when watching them play.
It hurts my heart to really pick them just because I can't stand their coach. But
yeah, I could not stand their coach either. I grew up living in Indiana as a Notre Dame fan. Dan Devine, Eric Parsegian, but I stopped being a Notre Dame fan when they hired Lou Holtz. I mean, I'm sorry. I know everybody loves Lou Holtz, and he's a funny little leprechaun-looking guy. But it doesn't change the fact that almost every program Lou Holtz has ever left ended up getting some kind of probation or fine after he left.
Yeah, all I'll say about Lou Holtz is he's a really good public speaker, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, or we could just say he's really full of shit. But
that too.
That's the way I take it. I mean, to me, that's what Lou Holtz is. I mean, he's really good at motivating kids.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, basically he's feeding them a line of crap. When he went to the NFL and tried to run the option with Richard Todd and Joe Namath, it didn't really work that well, and he ducked the hell out of there before the season was even over. So when it came to dealing with grown men can smell the shit. So
yeah, they just they perform for checks, not for funny little motivational stories. So
yeah, and actually, I mean, they'll perform for a coach if they really respect that coach, and I don't think Lou Holtz ever really got that, which is why he went back to college. But All right, we're at the halfway point of the show, so we're going to get off here right now and go check out a commercial from mybookie.ag. We'll be back in a minute.
We'll get back to the podcast in just about a minute here, but first, football season is here, and if you're one of those fans of the NFL, the CFL, or college football who likes to make things interesting on game day, be sure to check out the offerings at mybookie.ag, a sponsor of the Grueling Truth Network. MyBookie reminds you that where you're betting is just as important as what you're betting on. MyBookie.ag offers the full range of point spreads, lines, odds, futures, proposition bets, and parlays on NFL, CFL, and FBS games that you'd find at any proper sportsbook online or off. They've also got the very trendy and exciting in-game live betting options as well. MyBookie offers all first-time players a 100% deposit bonus, thereby doubling your initial bankroll. And MyBookie accepts players from worldwide, including the U.S. and Canada. MyBookie.ag offers 24-hour multilingual customer service and chat, plus a handy app for your mobile device. Best of all about MyBookie.ag, though, is the payout time. MyBookie promises payouts to your account within 2 business days of request. So the next time you're wagering on football, or baseball, or basketball, or soccer, or any major sport, really, check out MyBookie.ag, sponsor of the Grueling Truth. Use promo code CFBPicks or NFLPicks to get a 100% match bonus on your first deposit. That's promo code CFBPICKS or NFLPicks. Thank you, and please always play responsibly.
All right, guys, we're back with the College Football Weekly Pick'em Show. We're at Week 6. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster, with, of course, former Alabama offensive lineman Bill Searcy. Our next game, Bill, this game's interesting to me because I think West Virginia is a team that's a little underrated, but they go to TCU. TCU's favored by 13.
I'm going to go with TCU.
I'm going to agree with you again. We're agreeing a lot tonight, but I think TCU is a team that, basically, you look at their schedule, they got a few rough games in the Big 12, but this for TCU is going to come down to TCU against Oklahoma, I think.
Yeah.
And I think they can win that game.
They've got a good team, and once again, you and I know they're a good team. I don't think a lot of people give them a whole lot of respect, and I don't know why. But TCU's got a good team, man. We were talking about that earlier, so I'm going to ride with them.
I'm going to ride with you on them. The next game, there is no point spread to yet. So this is a pick 'em. Just pick whoever you think's going to win. We got the Miami of Florida Hurricanes at Florida State. It's at Florida State. The Canes, to me, have been impressive since the halftime of the Toledo game. They looked pretty good last week. I'm going to go with Miami here, Bill.
I think it's an easy pick. I'm going with Miami, too.
Well, to me, it's not easy
Florida State
because Miami seems to screw up when they get to the point where you think that they're going to go back to the glory days.
Well, here's what. I think Miami has a really good young defense with a bunch of great athletes that just fly around, kind of like their old days. And I think Florida State's got the worst offensive line, or one of them. And literally in college football right now, they're going to get that quarterback killed. And I think the Miami defense, if nothing else, is going to wear that offense out. So I got to pick Miami because I like their coach, and I think they're going to have a good year this year. So
I know because he's from the SEC.
No, because he won 10 games a year for how many years? That's why I like him. He didn't win a championship, but I just thought he was a good coach. So I think he'll do a good job down in Miami, and I think they'll beat Florida State. I don't know. Right. I think they'll beat them kind of easy.
All righty. That brings us to another game that the point spread kind of baffles me. Washington State is only a 2-point favorite at Oregon. Now, Oregon's a good football team. They got Royce Freeman, who's averaging almost 6 yards a carry, 10 touchdowns, great running game. But right now, Oregon's top quarterback, maybe their top 2 quarterbacks are out. So you're going to be going down to maybe the second or third guy starting at quarterback against Washington State with Luke Falk, who are coming off a huge win at USC. And the Cougars are favored by 2. So, Bill, you going with Washington State or the home team, Oregon?
I got to go with Washington State, man. Love their coach. I love watching them play. I like their style, and I'm going with Washington State.
Yeah, I'm going with them too, and I'll give the 2 points all day because Oregon, without a quarterback, Royce Freeman's a hell of a running back, but he's going to have to run for 300 yards for them to have a chance to win this game.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
I think Washington State's on a roll.
The next game, interesting. Ohio State's favored by 31, hosting Maryland. Maryland's the team that blew out Texas at the start of the year. They had a nice win at Minnesota. You taking the points here, or are you taking the Buckeyes?
I'm going to take the points on this one. I'm going to take Maryland.
Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give the points, and I'm going to go with Ohio State because it seems to me that J.T. Barrett is a Heisman Trophy candidate if he plays a mediocre team. So I'm going to figure he's going to put up a big game here before, craps his pants when they play the better teams in the Big Ten. Next game. This is interesting to me because I don't think Texas A&M's that bad of a team, Bill. But Alabama goes to Texas A&M and are favored by 24 points. I'm still going to go with Bama, though.
Yeah, I got to go with them. But I tell you what, 24 points is a lot to give up to Texas A&M in Texas A&M, too. That's a tough place to play.
They're a good football team, and they're hard to beat at College Station.
They're very hard to beat there, and they are a good football team. They're not that bad. But hopefully Alabama will continue to get better this week and go in there angry and mad and beat them down like they did last week. So I'm going to take Alabama.
Yeah, because really, if you look at Texas A&M, they blew that huge lead against UCLA. If they'd held on to that lead, they'd be sitting there at 5-0 or 6-0 right now.
Yeah, just like they start every year 6-0, and then the wheels come off.
Yeah, then they play Bama or somebody else that can fire back, and they get blown out.
Yeah, and then they just crumble after that. So.
Yeah.
I hope Bama starts that crumble for them this weekend.
I figured you would. All right. The next game, we've got the Michigan State Spartans at Michigan. Michigan's favored by 13, Bill.
Wow. As much as I hate to pick Michigan, I'm going to pick Michigan.
Yeah, I agree with you. Michigan State got handled by Notre Dame at home. Michigan, I know, has got quarterback problems, but I don't see how Michigan State's going to put up many points.
I'll be honest, I haven't paid that much of attention to Michigan State. I haven't watched the whole game that they played. But like you just said, I know they got handled, and I think Michigan's got a pretty good team.
Yeah, well, they've got a really good coach, whether you like him or not.
Yeah, he does. He is a good coach.
I guarantee you this, the San Francisco 49ers wish they still had him.
Oh, yeah. I don't doubt that one bit. But I bet he's very happy where he is.
Oh, yeah. He's making a lot more money, too, and a lot easier job.
Did you see the video of him jumping off the diving board yesterday?
No, I didn't.
He took his team to, I don't know, they were at the pool somewhere there in Michigan on campus, I guess. And I don't know why. Don't ask me why he did it. They had a video of him doing a cannonball or something off the high dive in his khaki pants and his shirt and his hat on. So, that's him.
I like him. He's a hell of a football coach. That program was not very good when he got there, and they became good really quick.
He's a good coach. He's a great recruiter. And, whether you think he's a flake or not, that doesn't matter. He's a good football coach.
Well, and the thing is this, unlike Lou Holtz, when he went to the NFL, he won.
Yeah.
And, he turned Stanford's program back around. He goes to the Niners and takes them from also ran in the NFL to the Super Bowl. Then he goes to Michigan. They're an also ran. Now they're consistently a top 10 or 15 team again.
Right. You're right.
And I think it'll only get better for them from there. Last game of the week. We got the Cal Golden Bears at Washington. The Huskies are 26-point favorites. I think Cal is a really improved team this year. Washington's favored by 26. That's a lot of points, Bill.
I'm gonna take the points on this one. I'm gonna take the points.
Okay, so you got Cal.
I got Cal.
I'm gonna give the points. I think Washington may be better than what they were last year.
You like Washington? I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, I do like Washington.
They do have a good team, but I'm I want to take the points. Hey, I want to ask you a question. Once again, this is one of those West Coast deals that I don't watch that much of, but that kid from Stanford.
Oh, he's good.
What's his name? Love, right?
Yeah, the running back. Yeah, I just did a Heisman Trophy ranking thing. I got him at number 3 right now. He ran for 300 yards against a solid. I mean, Arizona State's not a bad team. They upset Oregon last week. But the thing that's amazing about the kid is he's ran for over 1,000 yards on 98 carries.
I know. That's why I saw some highlights, man, and he looks like he's got rockets on his shoes. God.
Oh, yeah, he looked like Roadrunner or something. You expect for him to go beep, beep every time he grabs the ball.
Who do you have in your list of Heisman? Who you got ahead of him?
Barkley and Mayfield.
Yeah.
I mean, Mayfield is kind of like freaking grandfathered in because he's been in college football for like 15 years, it seems like. But he is having a great season, and he had to win at Ohio State. And any other year, I think he would be the runaway winner. The only problem is Barkley returns kicks for touchdowns, runs for 5 yards, 6 yards a carry, catches passes, blocks on their biggest play of the year, which leads to a touchdown, throws a touchdown pass. I mean, the kid's just phenomenal. He does everything.
Well, Mayfield's been playing for one more year than J.T. Barrett. I think Mayfield's been playing for 15, and J.T. Barrett's been around for about 14.
J.T. Barrett's been there forever, too. I don't know if J.T. Barrett's been there forever, or it just seems like every Ohio State quarterback looks like J.T. Barrett.
I don't know. You're right. It could be that, but it seems like he's been there for a long time.
I don't know why Urban Meyer can't just recruit an actual quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if he did.
Good athlete, though. He's a good
athlete. But, Jalen Hurts is a good athlete that I think by the time he's a junior or senior will be good throwing the ball. And I think Jalen Hurts is already better throwing the ball than J.T. Barrett.
Yeah, Jalen's better than he was last year. He's doing a pretty good job. He still doesn't read defenses real well, I don't think, but he's getting better.
Yeah, but, playing college football, you're not really asked. My guess is, from what I watch, Saban doesn't really ask you to read the defense. He asks you to read a progression, which is 1-2 run.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of the problems why I think with Saban's offense, if you look at it, McElroy, A.J. McCarron, they're not NFL quarterbacks because they've not been trained to be NFL quarterbacks.
Right.
They're trained, this guy, that guy, that guy. Instead of going out and reading, well, we got this many safeties. They're in a cover 2. They're in a cover 3. This is where I should go with the ball. I don't think they're taught like that. Where I think you get quarterbacks out of programs like USC are taught that way.
Yeah.
It's like Sam Darnold right now is being raked across the coals. It's not Sam Darnold's fault that USC's offensive line is horrible.
Yeah.
And Sam Darnold will still be a stud in the NFL, I believe.
Oh, I
think quarterback-wise with this draft, there could be 6 guys that could end up being starters. I mean, this draft could be better than the 83 draft for quarterbacks.
How did Josh Rosen do last week?
Did you see how they play last week? I don't think they played somebody last week. If they did, they played somebody crappy and probably blew them out because I didn't even know.
Maybe they did.
But Josh Rosen is a guy that I do like. You got to like a guy that can come down from, 30 down in the fourth quarter.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do like him. I love him. I
like him. The Josh Allen kid from Wyoming. I know people are going to trash him because Wyoming's not doing as good as they thought, but he doesn't have the players around him.
No, it's Wyoming. I mean, come on.
I mean, the fact that he even had people taking Wyoming seriously should tell you he can play quarterback. I do think there are some questions with Allen on his ability to make quick decisions. I mean, it's just like, let's see, who's the quarterback I'm trying to think of here that played yesterday in the NFL? It's Deshaun Kaiser. Kaiser's a guy I never thought could play in the NFL because he holds onto the ball too long. And I'm pretty sure if the Cleveland Browns gave him 10 seconds to throw the ball, he would hold on to it for 11 before he would throw it. And I mean, when you watch him in the pocket, I mean, you got Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap coming after you. You're not going to be able to hold that ball no matter how good your offensive line is for more than 3 seconds.
Right.
And he's sitting there and he's like pump faking, and Geno Atkins is, about to take his head off. And then last second he'll turn and just throw it up in the air, and it gets picked off, or he gets sacked because he holds it too long. And I just think you've got a bunch of guys in college right now. And see, I think the other thing for Darnold is a bad year may help him because who wants to be drafted by the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah.
So maybe he has a bad year because his team's not that good. He stays in college another year, and he doesn't have to be a Cleveland Brown.
Yeah, he needs to stay one more year maybe.
Yeah, nobody wants to be a Cleveland Brown.
Who wants to leave USC early anyway? Why would you ever want to leave USC early?
I know, because the cheerleaders got the sweaters, and, it's nice in L.A.
I mean, that's the one college where you may not want to graduate early. It's so nice out there.
No, hell, why would you want to go for, come on, it's not like you're at Alabama. You got to get out of there as quick as you can.
Hey.
That's what I always figured, I don't know how Miami and Florida cannot be good. How can you not recruit at Miami?
I know. Well, so Gainesville, Florida is nice.
Of course,
Florida
Louisville
State's
recruits
great.
well because they got Rick Pitino with the strippers and everything.
I tell you, Florida State, I got recruited by Florida State, and that was so long ago, nobody even knows who the coach was, but his name was Darryl Mudra. And Florida State was horrible.
Yeah, that was before Bowden came from West Virginia.
That was before Bowden. So they were horrible. But trust me, if they would have had a good team, I may have been a Seminole. Those Florida colleges those are great places. But
so what would that have been, 76, 77?
Yeah, 76 was my freshman year. So
okay, and I think Bowden went to Florida State in what, 78, 77?
I don't remember. I don't know what year it was. But their facilities were horrible at the time, compared to the other schools I was looking at.
Because I remember with Bowden, within 2 years, he had them in the Orange Bowl.
Oh, it didn't take him long now. Once
they
he
were
got
in the Orange Bowl back-to-back years, I think, in 79 and 80 or 80 and 81. I think it was 80 and 81.
I think they even had good athletes there when they were horrible. They just didn't have a coach
they did. It's just the hell
to corral them. Yeah, exactly. So but once Bowden got there and got everything up to speed, then obviously we know what happened. But anyway.
Yeah, well, Bowden was a hell of a coach.
Yep.
You could tell that just what he did with the West Virginia program, because West Virginia's program was wrecked when he went there.
Yeah,
he's got him in bowl games almost every year. That's how he got the Florida State job.
At one time, they said he was going to be an Alabama coach. That was many years ago. So,
well, Alabama could have used him from 82 on, couldn't it?
Yes, we could have. We sure could have. And there was some rough times.
There wasn't much there until, was it Gene Stallings in 92?
Gene Stallings. Yep, that's it. They had Ray Perkins.
And then he left and it went to hell again.
Yep, you're right. He had Ray Perkins and Mike DuBose, and had Mike Price for about a month. That he got caught with a university credit card down in Florida, and so it was some rough times.
Yeah, you can't do that until after you win a national championship.
You got to win at least one national championship before you.
Yeah, you win a national championship. Yeah, they'll give you all the credit cards you want, but you can't be taking credit cards when you haven't won a game yet.
No, exactly.
But it actually ended up being the best thing to happen to Alabama for Mike Price to do that.
It did. You're right.
And I actually thought Mike Price was a good hire.
I thought he was at the time. But he
did some good things. What, at Washington State?
Yep, that's where he was. He was Washington State.
When he Bledsoe's coach?
He was already, and he was already.
Took him to the Rose Bowl in '98, I think.
I don't know how old he was when they hired him in Alabama. He was already, been coaching a long time. Alabama would have probably been his last job, and then I think they fired him, and he went to Texas.
Wasn't Alabama his last job, anyways?
No, actually, I think he ended up at Texas El Paso, if I remember correctly.
Oh, did he? Well, hell, you might as well say his last job was Alabama.
Yeah, I think he went from a job at Alabama, probably making, I don't know, they were probably going to pay him $1 million a year at that time, maybe $2 million.
Making $7.75 an hour at UTEP.
Exactly.
And hoping he can go to something like the Tax Slayer Bowl or something.
Exactly.
He could win 6 or 7 games.
Independence Bowl down there in Shreveport.
Oh, the Independence Bowl ain't that bad. It's just who the hell wants to go to Shreveport for your...
Well, that's what I mean. It's Shreveport. That's what I'm talking about.
I know. Because hell, half the time that game's cold.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yep.
Well, hell, you always get to play in a dome in your bowl games, didn't you?
We try to.
You were like Sugar Bowl almost every year, weren't you?
Yep.
78, 79, 80 were all Sugar Bowls.
Well, I'm hoping we play 80 was Cotton Bowl.
You had the Baylor game, right?
Yep. 78, 79 was Sugar, and then 80 we played in the Cotton Bowl against Baylor. They were the Southwest Conference champions.
All right, and 81 would have been the Sugar Bowl against Lou Holtz in Arkansas, right?
No, 79 was Lou Holtz in Arkansas.
Okay, 79.
78,
okay.
81, Georgia. Remember, Georgia
to me, that would have been 80 because that was the 79 season.
Yeah. Well, you're right. Kind of right.
The 79 Sugar Bowl to me is the Alabama-Penn State game.
Okay, yeah. I got you. I see what you're talking about.
Which was one of the best defensive football games I've ever seen.
It was, man. Both
of those teams were real damn good.
Those two linebackers that made that goal line stand hit, I was with them this weekend. Rich Wingo and Barry Krause, number 36 and number 77, in the famous goal line stand picture. And both of them look like they still could play now.
Yeah, I'm still pissed off about that. I was cheering for Penn State. I was going to cheer for Bama. Y'all won all the damn time. I grew up a Penn State fan just because they were always trying to beat the Alabamas and the Notre Dames.
Well, Joe Paterno and Coach Bryant were pretty good friends at that time. And,
well, hell, I think Paterno had like 4 undefeated seasons before that where he never was ranked higher than number 3.
Yeah.
Because that's where they just did the damn voting thing. And you just happened to be number 1 and number 2 were playing in the Sugar Bowl in 79.
Who was the fullback? Matt Suey, is that right?
Yeah, Matt Suey from Penn State.
Fullback? Yeah, and they had Bruce Clark and Matt Millen.
They have Gooman also.
Bruce? Yep, and they had Matt Millen on defense. Linebacker. Bruce Clark, defensive tackle.
Yeah, he was a hell of a player.
Whatever happened to him? Did he go to the NFL?
I don't know. He got drafted in the first round, but I think he kind of flamed out, didn't he?
I don't know. That's why
I don't think he ever turned out to be what they thought he was going to be.
Yeah, and I don't know if he ended up in Canada or something. Maybe I don't know, but
yes,
he was a great college player. He was a great.
Actually, played for the Packers in '80. They cut him quickly, and he went to the Argonauts for a couple years. He actually played in the Arena Football League too, and in the World League of American Football.
Good Lord!
But he actually played in an NFL Pro Bowl in 1984.
Huh. Wow.
So he played the CFL, the Arena Football League, the Pro Bowl, and the World League of American Football for the Barcelona Dragons.
God, he was a journeyman, huh?
Yeah,
man.
But he was a journeyman that was good enough to play in a Pro Bowl.
He was a good football player. I know that. Good football.
Well, I think he won the Lombardi Award, didn't he?
I don't remember, but that wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, he was a beast on defense. He was fast. He was quick. He was strong.
Speaking of beast on defense, Penn State also had Jerry Sandusky as their defensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's a different kind of beast.
That was kind of rude. I shouldn't have brought that up, should I?
No, that's sick, man. That is so sick.
But, well, hell. Yeah, but that was a great football game. And that was 2 great football teams. I think their quarterback was Chuck Fusina, too, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I was just getting ready to ask you. I think it was Chuck Fusina.
Yeah, and I think their main receiver was Scott Fitzke. I know they had Mike Gooman and Matt Suey in the backfield. And then I think their linebackers, it wasn't just Matt Millen. The other linebacker was a dude that played for the Jets. What was his name? Lance Smell. You remember Lance Smell?
I don't. I didn't.
Yeah, Lance Smell played for the Jets for a long time during the 80s.
Oh. Well, Matt Millen.
But that was the year where I think Penn State won a ton of close games and everything was low scoring. The game I most remember is they beat number 1 or number 15 Pitt, but they were number 1 going into that game against you guys too, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
I think you guys were number 1 and they were number 2, or they were number 1 and you guys were number 2. But
it was a heck of a football game.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for this week. You can come back next week and hear me and Bill nail every pick like we do every week, right, Bill?
Hey, that's right. I'll be undefeated this week, so you better follow what I say.
Well, I can tell you this. We're both going to pass Schmitty because I'm not going to ask for his picks, and if he doesn't give them to me, he was 0 for what? 2, 4? He'll be 0 and 14, so we should be way ahead of him unless we screw up badly.
That's right. He forfeits for not showing up.
Yeah, I mean,
Speaking of not showing up. Speaking of not showing up.
We could have done it last night with just me and him, but you played at Alabama.
Where's Oz?
Oz is, we've relegated him to just a CFL show because he can only do so many shows, and he actually watches all the CFL games and knows a lot about the CFL, so he's on the CFL show.
Okay.
But I think I'm going to see if I can get Tony Hunter to come on with us maybe next week. You remember Tony?
I was hoping. Yeah, I remember who he is, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Tony's a hell of a guy, and I still think he's the greatest tight end in Notre Dame history because he was drafted. I think he was drafted like the 3rd or 4th pick in the 83 draft. And then I think from 84 to 86, he averaged like 60 or 70 receptions for 800 or 900 yards a year. And then he blew out his meniscus and never was the same.
He was a good football player, great football player.
Yeah, he could run for a tight end especially.
Yeah, yep, sure could.
But I'd put him up there with the Bavaros and the Eiferts who played at Notre Dame. I think he's as good as any of them. And most importantly, he's a good dude. He does a weekly Notre Dame show with Josh Benjamin, if you guys want to listen to that, even though Bill hates them. And we still need to find somebody to do a weekly Alabama show. So if there's anybody out there that's interested in doing that, we'd love to have you.
I may try to find somebody to do the weekly Alabama show with me. I don't know though. We'll see.
You might as well. But, hey, and I want to thank all the listeners. We're averaging like 3,000 to 4,000 listeners a show on this now, Bill.
That's good. That is great. And I would be remiss if I did not say, mention the horrible incident in Las Vegas. And, thinking about all those people that lost folks out there and praying for them and hoping everybody can heal up from that thing because that was a rude way to wake up this morning and hear that going on. And I hate.
The sad thing is, it's a rude way to wake up. It makes it even ruder because when you wake up and hear it, it doesn't really even shock you anymore.
Yeah, I know. That's what's sad.
A lot of times I'll wake up in the morning but afraid to turn the TV on just to hear what might have happened overnight.
Well, what it really gets me is the way some people tried to are still trying to and tried to politicize it right away, and it's it has nothing to do with that. It's all about some sicko just flat out taking a bunch of people out, and I'm really sad to hear it. And once again, I want to put out that to the families and to the people who may be involved or know anybody that's involved, and please know that praying for you and your families for healing in that regard.
Yeah, that goes for both of us. And with the politicizing the thing, that gets so damn old on both sides.
Oh, yeah, I'm tired of it.
And it doesn't matter what it is. Both sides will try to swing it, and it's just senseless. And the problem is they're going to tell you got to ban guns. And I'm sorry, but go to Chicago, guns are banned. See if there's any shootings during the day there.
Yeah, they're not going to ban guns.
No, number one, there's already 300 million out there, so how the hell are you going to get them all back?
Yeah, well, the guy, the big thing here
criminals don't care if they break the law, too. I don't know if people know that or not, but some people don't seem to.
No, and believe me, it doesn't matter. They're going to get a gun if they want a gun. It doesn't matter what the law is.
If you want to do something bad enough, you're going to do it, and there's hardly any way to stop anybody that has their mind set on doing something.
Right. Exactly.
But it's sad when anymore you got to, you go into a concert or a sporting event, you look at the exits, just what might happen in case you have to take off running for it.
Well, that's my thing is, I'm not trying to be I'm not scared to go into venues or that kind of thing, but I've become way more alert about going into big football venues like the Mercedes Dome that I went to watch Alabama play, or any enclosed place like that, or any stadium. An outdoor stadium, it doesn't matter. It pisses me off that I have to be searched to go in there. Yeah, hey, down here.
I used to have season tickets at the Bengals. I don't anymore because I don't want to be searched. I feel like, constitutionally, unless you have a reason to search me, you shouldn't be searching me.
Yeah, and down here you can't. The ladies can't carry. You got to carry a clear a clear bag in. You can't carry a purse that where they can't see everything.
Yeah, same thing here. And I think it's a violation of my rights. And I don't care, because the way I look at it is this. If I want to go in there, I go in there. I take my chances. I'm going to live my life. I want to live it free. And anymore, you're not allowed to, because everybody's scared. And half the time, I just think that they're just trying to scare the hell out of us to take more rights away from us.
Look, the one thing is I am going to do is this. I am going to live my life. I'm not going to let anybody or anything scare me away from doing the things I want to do and enjoy, and nobody should either. So
no.
I might stop going to see certain things for certain reasons, but it won't be because I'm scared of someone shooting me.
Yeah, me neither. I just stopped going just because I don't want anybody to search me when they don't have probable cause.
Yeah, and I understand that.
It's just like when they do these checkpoints, DUI checkpoints. They're illegal.
Yeah.
The Constitution says that I have a right to freely travel.
Yep.
If you don't have a reason to think I'm drunk, why are you pulling me over?
Yeah, they do it a lot down here, buddy.
It's just like I go in a gas station. There's a BP down here where if you go in it, or it's a speedway where you go in it, and if my wife wants beer, she sends me down to get her beer, and I put her beer up there, and we need to ID you. I'm 48 years old. What do you got to ID me for?
Yeah.
And they're like, it's the law. Then I pull out the Indiana code on my phone and say, no, it's not. You can check me if you have reason to believe I'm under the age of 30. So I read them the Riot Act on the Constitution and basically tell them to shove the stuff up their ass, and I go somewhere else to get it. They'll sell it to me that way. But I've seen them in Walmart, card veterans who have World War II hats on, who are 90 years old in a wheelchair.
Well, they card me. I don't drink. Okay, so but if
I don't either, but my wife does. So, probably because she's with me.
And mine does too. So if I buy,
explains a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, if I'm buying beer for her and they ask me for an ID, I laugh because I'm like, I'm so old. I'm kind of honored by it now, though. So
Yeah, but they're not. They're doing it basically just because. I don't know. I guess maybe I just read the Constitution too much in my life.
There you go.
And I just want to be left alone. It's just like
foolish you. Foolish you.
Yeah, it's just like the NFL thing with standing for. I don't care if you stand for the flag. I don't care what you do. Just leave me the hell alone. That's the way I look at it. I mean,
that
you can
I'm done with.
Hey, I know. I mean, I don't care. And you know what? If the president would have just shut up, it was dying down anyway.
Well, then you got which one was it? The Sharp brother on ESPN that got them all fired up yesterday. I guess it was. He said some things.
I didn't even hear about that one.
Oh, just Google it. Who is it? Shannon Sharp that's on ESPN?
Yeah, it's Shannon, I think, that's on TV.
Just all you got to do is Google it. You'll see it. It'll fire you up. But
it won't fire me up, Bill, because I don't care what anybody else thinks.
I know that. It's just, anyway.
I mean, the beauty of it is this, though. It gave us a whole bunch of readers no matter what we write about it. So
yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. If you're writing stories about the NFL, all you got to do is start with that, and you're going to get plenty of people.
If we had a slow news day, I mean, Donald Trump, the statement he made, we were having a slow numbers day. All I had to do is write something about him, talking about that. Next thing you know, we got a big numbers day.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't care. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, and I say that on there. And I don't care what anybody thinks about what I think. And I expect you not to care what I think. As long as I ain't hurting nobody with what I think, and you ain't hurting nobody with what you think, I don't care.
No, quite honestly, I really do. And this not just saying this because I know other people are listening. I really do respect other people's opinions with, and I have no problem with it. And I can have a discussion about it and not get mad. The problem is not a lot of people can have a discussion with you and not get mad.
And I think that is the biggest problem in this country on both sides anymore. Everybody says
no doubt
you should have a right to free speech unless you disagree with them.
Yeah, that's right. I had an interesting conversation this weekend with a former teammate of mine who's African American, and obviously we don't agree on everything, but we're teammates, so we have a lot of tolerance for each other. And so we had a reasonable, rational discussion for quite a while about all this stuff with the NFL and the flag and blah, blah, blah. And I listened to what he had to say, and it was a different point of view. Obviously, I didn't grow up in the South as a young black man. So his point of view is way different than mine. But we were teammates at Alabama. We played the Georgia All-Star game together in high school, and so I've known him for 40 years. And I'll say this: it was educational, but it was also interesting to hear that his side, and he was interested to hear my side. But the thing is, we were able to discuss it, and whether or not we changed each other's minds on anything wasn't the point. The point was we were able to talk about it and walk away. We're still buddies, still love him. So
yeah, and it also gives you room to think. I mean, how people grow up has a lot to do with why they think what they think.
Heck yeah. Well, look, he told me a story about when he was like 10 years old, and he grew up in like Augusta, Georgia, and the Deep South, and so 10 years old, he's in his, that's what, the 60s, and he was 10 working like at a farmer's market or something, helping somebody out. And, some white guy with a gun scared him to death. And, he said it stuck with him his whole life. Well, I can't, obviously I can't relate to that. That didn't happen to me. Hearing him say that just gives me a whole different perspective and a little bit more tolerance and for other people and their opinions. So anyway, that's my political message for the night.
Everybody would just respect each other's opinions because everybody comes from a different way. I mean, I grew up with a dad that fought Vietnam who said that he didn't care. He thought people should be allowed to say or do whatever they want because he fought for that. He didn't fight for people to be mandated to stand for a flag or say a Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's face it, if you look back at the history of this country, there's a lot of bad things. There's a lot of good things. There's a lot of bad things.
Yeah,
so
sure is. You're right, man.
But, all right, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We're in an hour.
Right.
My wife's going to tell me I've been on the phone too long with Bill, and then I'm going to get in trouble. But
there you go. All right, man, until next week.
Yeah, so next week we'll do it again. And then, tomorrow night we got the NFL Pick'em Show, which we'll be doing, and we've got the CFL Pick'em Show Wednesday night. So we're just kind of doing something all the time.
You got a Pick'em Show every night.
Yeah, and so I want to remind everybody, you can go to iTunes and actually get the Grueling Truth app to get all of our podcasts. You can find us on thegruelingtruth.net. Make sure you check out mybookie.ag, 100% bonus if you use the promo code CFBPicks. So make sure you check that out also. So for Bill Searcy, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.